Alright, this is Fish on a Heater with Tournament Takeaway, where we take a look at a single battle within a Sylph Arena tournament and just break it down into little bits and pieces and take a look at all the pieces and work out what we can take from it to take into future battles and hopefully get better, learn some stuff, build that ranking. Today we are going to learn some stuff. This is going to be a fantastic episode. This was a Voyager Cup battle from April against one of Australia's top ranked battlers. Her name's Rocket Claire. And she watches a lot of my videos, which is fantastic. Love the support, and she always tells me that I'm too hard on myself, which I do not agree with. I think this is a perfect example of why she's up there and I'm kind of just plodding along down here. Let's take a look at the battle. There we go. Alright, so this is Battle 3 of our Colossal Cup Arena Australis tournament, where we just open up the whole server and let everyone jump in. There were 84 people in this tournament, so 7 rounds, the maximum number of rounds for tournaments at this stage. And we're 1-1, so I'm pretty close to being able to claim a big scalp here, because this fantastic lead for me is just, the perfect start. She just wastes no time, switches straight out into the Scrafty, and I go straight into a Azumarill. So that is fantastic for me. Like, such a good start. There is no need for me to burn shields. I built up to the Hydro Pump before throwing the Ice Beam, just in case she wanted to try and protect that Scrafty at all, but obviously she doesn't, so now we're within Ice Beam range, so there's no need to build up to a Hydro Pump. I can just go straight Ice Beams. If she wants to use her shield, great. If she doesn't, then goodbye Scrafty. So she just lets that go. She does not spend any resources trying to save that matchup. Out comes a Registeel and gets to a lock on. I shield it because I wanted to throw a Hydro Pump at it. And so I think this was a pretty no-lose situation for me, because either the Hydro Pump's going to be shielded and we're at parity again. We've both got one shield left, which is fine by me, or the Hydro Pump goes through and takes a huge chunk out of the Registeel. And here is where I start, in my opinion, making mistakes. So throughout our first 2 battles, Claire had been very, very good at only using her shields when she actually needed to, right? She had fantastic use of her shields, and it meant that matchups that I would have thought I would win were flipped because she had the right number of shields left, or used her shields at the right moment. So I switched in this shift tree because I wanted to get rid of those shields, make them a non-factor. Sorry about that effect that happens there when I unpause it. Don't know how to fix that. I managed to get 1 shield, but she gets to a flash cannon before I can get to another charge move. You can see my Pokeball Plus had picked up some items there. And I thought to myself, well, what's the point of trying to apply shield pressure if I'm just going to be at 0 shields myself? Like, there's no point in that. So I let that shift tree go down. And then out comes Marowak. She eventually brings out the Hypno. I go for the shield bait to try and get rid of that last shield. And look at that, she lets it through. That was, a huge moment in the battle. We'll talk about that in a minute. She manages to bait me, and I throw out my Azumarill. I believe I would have gotten to an Ice Beam first if she'd tried to farm me, so she had to use up all her energy. I do manage to get that last shield that time, and then managed to get to a Shadow Ball. Take out the Hypno. Now, I don't know if you guys picked up on it during the battle that she had enough energy for a Flash Cannon there. So I was one fire spin away from winning, but she was all over it. She knew what she was doing. She managed to save it. She threw out that Flash Cannon just in time to finish off the Marowak and take the win out from under my nose. So let's see. Let's break down a few things that happened there. Like I said, I am fine with how the battle went up until I threw the Hydro Pump at the Redisteel. So I shielded the Flash Cannon. Yep, that's fine. Hydro Pump. And then I try and switch out. So, okay. Here's why I think that was a mistake first up, right? So I throw that foul play. And it manages to get to that Flash Cannon pretty quickly, right? What would have happened if I'd left the Azumarill in? For a start, that Azumarill was on like this much health left. So it was not going to be much use at all for the rest of the battle, right? If we take a look at PV Poke here, I've got here Azumarill versus Redisteel. And I've taken a bit of a guess at how much HP they had left. Gone 40 each. And I'd counted up, I think, 7 lock-ons from the Redisteel. So, yeah, by the time I got that Hydro Pump out, it'd give me about 7 lock-ons. So, you can see here that the Redisteel has to use up that energy, because if it tries to just farm me down, it's going to take 40 lock-ons to farm down the Azumarill all the way to 0. So it has to use energy. I'm going to get to an Ice Beam, and I think the Ice Beam should have taken it out as well at that range. So like I'm going to get to an Ice Beam pretty quickly. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that's 75 energy that it would have saved up. So the best she could have hoped for was to farm up to she would have gotten up to 100 energy before throwing the Flash Cannon that would take it out. And I wouldn't have gotten to an Ice Beam by then, and Bubbles wouldn't have taken it out either. So the lesson there is that I should have just let the Azumarill stay in. She didn't know what I had in the back. She couldn't have known that I had the Marowak that could take out the rest of its energy. So she might have tried to farm up to 100 energy and then taken out the Azumarill. That's fine. But yeah, for long story short, I needed to keep that Azumarill in, let it go down, and then I've got the Marowak versus the Redisteel left, and the Shiftry versus the Hypno, which is such a good situation for me, right? So that's mistake number 1, right? That Azumarill, just no use keeping it in the battle. Especially, the next thing is bringing out the Shiftry as opposed to the Marowak. I needed to put the Marowak in. Like, that Shiftry, I think that Shiftry is in knockout range with a foul play, right? Which was the whole purpose behind, wanting to apply that shield pressure. So, if I'm in a situation where I've got either Shiftry or Marowak that has to take out both of her remaining Pokemon, I would much rather it be the Shiftry. The Marowak does beat Hypno, but it's very situational. if Hypno has more shields, if Hypno has more energy, if Hypno baits any number of times, the Hypno's going to flip that matchup. There's very little situations in which a Shiftry is going to lose to a Hypno. Check this out. Got it set up here. Shiftry versus Hypno. Shiftry is going to win that much, and if we go down to, this is all the different possible shield situations. So if Shiftry's got 0 shields and Hypno's got 2, Shiftry's still winning that. If it's 2 and 2, Shiftry is smashing it. if Shiftry's got 2 and Hypno's got none, then of course it's smashing it. The Hypno had some energy as well. So let's give it 3 confusions worth of energy. So it's flipping that 1 and 2, 0, 1 and 0, 2 shield scenario. But it's, winning the rest. So that Shiftry is a huge advantage against the Hypno, right? So mistake number 1, bringing out the Azumarill, taking the Azumarill out of the battle. Mistake number 2 was putting in Shiftry instead of Marowak, which is what I should have done. Let's go back to the battle. And play. Okay, here's the next thing. Let's just slow this right down. I bring out my Marowak here, right? Against the Redsteel. She doesn't panic, she doesn't take it out straight away. Let's watch that again. Count how many... Oh, please, that's not right. Count how many lock-ons that Redsteel makes before it's taken out of the battle. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 lock-ons, right? That's 40 energy. Should we do anything about that now? No, let's just hold on to that information, shall we? So it built up 40 energy before coming out of that fight. And then here is not my mistake, but just her brilliance, okay? I tried to go for the bait to try and get rid of that last shield, and she lets it go. Talking to her after the battle, she said something to me which is, for me, like a huge trigger word. It's the phrase that all the higher end battlers use and understand, and it's the concept of the win condition. She said to me that she let that shield bait go because that was her win condition. She needed for that to be a bone club rather than a shadow ball, and to let that go. Let's take a look at what happens in all the other situations, right? So here we've got me throwing a bone club and her falling for it, her shooting it. I've had to kind of take a bit of a guess at how much health she had left. But if she falls for that bait, I'm then getting through a shadow ball which is doing 97 damage, even if she manages to get to a shadow ball, which is unlikely because you can see here, if I'm right about her having 130 HP left, then she only has 2 HP by this stage. If she had any less than that, then she's not getting to that shadow ball at all, and I'm keeping that shield, right? But nonetheless, even if she does manage to get to her own shadow ball, no problem there, right? What about if she doesn't shield it and it is a Shadow Ball, in that case, she's only getting to a Thunder Punch, and that's it. She can't get to a Shadow Ball. So there's just no need for me to use my last shield, because it's just the Hypno is out of the way. And then all she's got left is a Registeel with that much health left, like 2 Fire Spins. The third situation, the final situation, is that if I did throw a Shadow Ball and she shielded it, right? She throws a Thunder Punch, which I don't shield, and then I manage to get to a second Shadow Ball, which knocks her out. All three of those situations, the Hypno loses. But she managed to find the one situation in which she could, keep her shield and flip that matchup. And so that's something that's the whole point of this channel, is to be able to learn how to make those decisions and to analyze those things in the heat of the moment, which she managed to do. So endlessly impressed with that. Her win condition, the one thing that had to happen for her to flip that battle was for her to let it go and for it to be a Bone Club. And both of those things happened. So if we go back here, let's speed that back up again. She manages to bait me here. I didn't even look at whether that was important or not. And again, here's where, I might have been able to get to an Ice Beam, so it's probably unlikely. And now I have to use all my energy. And out comes that Registeel again. It had saved up 40 energy, which clearly was enough to tip it over the line when it came to when it came to energy. It must have had 25 energy already stored up. Maybe even less than that, 20 or something, because I think it managed to get out at least one more lock on as it was coming out of that Pokeball. So yeah, she had the foresight to build up enough for that Flash Cannon in the hope that by the time it had to come back out again, I would have burned my shields. And that's, again, something that to get to that next level, I personally need to, and I hope anyone watching this can learn to do, is to recognize, put yourself in my shoes, basically. I've got the Marowak there, and I've got one shield left. What was my win condition? Well, if that Hypno had thrown a Shadow Ball at my Marowak, that would be enough to feint the Marowak. So my win condition, after she had flipped the battle in her favour, would have been for that to be a Thunder Punch and for me not to shield it. That were the only two. Those two things had to happen for me to then flip it back in my favor. Because if it's a Shadow Ball and I shield it, then again, okay. If it was a Shadow Ball and I shielded it, then I would have still feinted the Hypno, but the Registeel would have come out and feinted me with the Flash Cannon anyway. So if it was a Shadow Ball and I did shield it, I still win that matchup, but the Registeel comes out and feints me, right? So I had to shield, I had to not shield whatever it was. And if it happened to be a Shadow Ball, then I feint anyway, and then I've just got the Yazoo left with that much health to try and save the day. Or she throws the Thunder Punch, and I managed to survive and take her out, and then I've got that shield left against the Registeel. So very, very high amount of information there to take in. You might need watched this a couple of times to try and just get into get the hang of that, I guess. So she recognised her win condition, which was for me to throw the bone club and for her not to shield. And then later, my win condition was to not throw the shield. I needed to recognise, and it's not that hard. Like recognising that the other Pokemon's in the back there and might have enough energy left. It's doable. Recognising that in the moment, right? I needed to not throw the shield, and for it to be Thunder Punch. Now on Claire's end, I think it wouldn't have mattered whether it was Shadow Ball or Thunder Punch. The only thing I would say to that, though, is that I believe, just doing some sims myself, that she didn't actually have enough energy for a Shadow Ball. I think she could only throw the Thunder Punch, which makes it even more of a situation where I should not have shielded. Anyway, heaps to think about there. I hope that this was as educational for you as it was for me. I'll see you next time, where hopefully you will have built that ranking a little bit further. Oh, one more thing. She's also telling me that I should start live streaming, and I think this is the best time to reveal that within probably the next few days I'm gonna be doing that. So keep an eye on Twitch. At the moment, I'm probably going to look into it, but my handle is fish on a heater with a 0 instead of an O there. I might change that, but I'll put the link down in the description or something. So yeah, keep an eye on that. It'll happen very soon. See you next time.